Let's get back to Labor and its broken promises, especially on superannuation. And firstly, let's concentrate on my criticisms about what Labor wants to do with your super. I said last night it was wrong that Labor rules out the opportunity for anyone being able to use some of their super savings to help buy their first home. And this is especially bad because Labor wants the super funds to use your money, not just to earn the best returns for you, but to deliver their political goals like social housing or renewable energy. You can't use your savings for your house, but Labor will use your money for its woke agenda. Well, I've got to say this criticism has been completely endorsed by an incredibly reputable source today. Bernie Fraser was the Reserve Bank Governor back in the Hawke-Keating days, and he worked closely with Keating on crucial economic reforms and management. Fraser is an eminent and trusted expert on the Australian economy and superannuation. He's been on super boards and he's been the trusted face of the industry superannuation sector.
Industry super funds can take some comfort from the knowledge that their funds are low cost. They have low fees and they pay no commissions to financial advisors. Industry super funds are run only to benefit members. So make sure you're in a fund that carries this symbol. It can make a big difference to your super payout.
Well, today, quoted in the Australian newspaper, Bernie Fraser has declared that he can't believe that the Treasurer is arguing for funds to invest in social projects, for example, which have pretty low returns. That would cut right across, he says, that would cut right across the thrust of investment by super funds to put the interest of the members very much to the fore. Spot on. Don't play politics. Maximise members' returns. And on housing, Fraser says there's scope for people to use their super to help get into housing. I can't think of a more comforting thought of someone approaching retirement, explains Fraser, than to know they have or will have by that time somewhere to live. Spot on, Bernie Fraser. Labor ought to listen. But now it's clear that Labor is planning to reduce and fiddle with tax concessions on super too. In other words, they're going to increase superannuation taxes. This is a clear broken promise, but the Treasurer is pretending otherwise.
We're not proposing and not contemplating major changes to the system.
Are you considering taxing at a different rate income on the income and the superannuation deposits over a certain level?
Well, we haven't come to a concluded view.
But are you considering it? Because that's a bloody major change, isn't it?
I don't think so.
Oh.
I don't think people considered it to be a major change last time there were tweaks of that nature.
Tweaks, but you're talking about taxing at a different level, the income on superannuation, and that's not a major change.
I wouldn't have thought so, Neil. Depends how you do it.
You tax people more, you touch their super savings, that is more than a tweak. And the Prime Minister also seems to think you can get away with your broken promise by downplaying the size of your changes.
We said during the election campaign that we did not intend to make big changes to superannuation, and we don't.
Funny thing is, back before the election, size didn't matter. The promise was no changes.
Does Labor commit to the current super arrangements for self-funded retirees and other superannuants? And do you rule out any increases to super taxes and changes to caps?
We've said we have no intention of making any super changes. One of the things that we're doing in this campaign is we're making all of our policies clear. We're putting them out there for all to see.
This stuff is dynamite. Labor is breaking all its core election undertakings on superannuation, on energy prices, on cost of living, on border protection. And just wait, it's not looking good for new and higher taxes either. Have a listen to this question and answer today.
But do Australians need to accept that this budget must include some policy decisions that increase the overall tax take to make defence, Medicare and other programs more sustainable? What's your message to Australians about the need for those decisions, even though inevitably they're unpopular?
Well, there is significant fiscal pressure on the budget, and that in part is because of the structural issues that are in the budget.
Wow, The PM then went on to talk about all those spending pressures on the budget, but he didn't rule out tax increases. The tax increases put to him in the question. Batten down the hatches, all right. Kicking off the Liberals' Aston by-election campaign in Melbourne today, Peter Dutton didn't miss.
It's no coincidence that the government has decided to hold this by-election early before the May budget. Let's be honest about that. In the May budget, clearly Labor is going to walk away from their tax cuts, which is going to make it harder for Aston families. And clearly there is an attack on superannuation. So the government, when they run out of money, and Labor's always been this way, when they run out of money, they come after yours.
And his freshly chosen candidate, Chris Kenny Tonight regular, Rashina Campbell, was right on message. This by-election is going to be about all cost of living issues and what Labor and its broken promises are doing to them.
As a mother of 3 kids, I know all of our grocery bills are going up. Energy prices are going up in Aston by $890 to $990 a year. That's far off the $275 cut the Albanese government promised us. So I'm going to make the case for the people of Aston to have a plan to ease that cost of living pressure.
Now, I think if this Aston by-election had been held a few months ago, Labor would have been picked as the red-hot favourites to pick it up. But if the Liberals fight this one hard on those issues, they could make it a turning point against Labor.